Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Book Nation Season 7, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and I got my hosts with me, my co-hosts with me today, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, Mr. Evan Valentine. Everybody's here. We're not going to take too much time on the preamble. We're going to move through these pods a little bit faster. We got a lot to talk about today. First up, we got some new trailers that have hit. We definitely got to talk about those. We also are going to do our best of TV breakdown for 2025. We're going to, as we start to do the last pods of the year, we got to start to talk about what we really liked about this year. And so we're going to get into that whole thing, starting with television. So stick around for that conversation. And we got to catch up with our regular TV. I have an instant reaction for you for Avatar. We got some huge comics to talk about this week. Plus, Matt has a thick with Triple C agenda that he wants to get to. So let's just do it. All right, up front, let's talk about the new trailer that's out. Janelle, you were kind of on We Got It. Talk to us about Supergirl. How'd you like it?
Heck yeah, man. Supergirl was amazing. This trailer came out and I was just totally pumped that it starts with everybody's favorite dog. And it is, I feel like so many people know this, but if you don't, the fact that it's based on this comic and that I read this comic, you guys had me read this comic and I loved it so much. I feel like one of the cool kids. It feels so awesome to see a film made to fit a comic that I read when it came out. Like, this is my first moment, not when it came out, but it was like my first moment to experience that. And it's just been a really, really cool journey for me because I try to find like missable things. I'm like, oh, that was from the comic. And oh, that moment was clearly from the comic. I'm really excited with Millie's performance in this. I was a little worried when she first got casted because she felt too young for me, but because I loved this this trailer so much, I started doing like deep dives, and I guess I'm thinking she's 23 in this. This is what I researched. So I actually think it's a great age because I remember when I was 23 and I was getting very, very drunk at bars too. So I just think it's very relatable. I'm loving all of, the connections to the comics. I think the action looks really beautiful. It does feel a little Guardians of the Galaxy, but guess what? I'm not mad about that. Like, I'm cool with it because Guardians is my favorite MCU film. So I could go on, but I don't want to steal all of our time. What did you guys think?
Well, yeah, sorry. We have some breaking news, so we're kind of working on that in the background because this live
I can keep talking. I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, this was a good kind of vibe setter for what we're going to be getting, because I think a lot of people had questions about what this is and what this is going to be. And I think this is the kind of way to present. This isn't like your typical superhero, super person movie. This is going to be, and if you guys don't know who's directing, it's Craig Gillespie, who's directed things like I, Tonya with Margot Robbie and Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling. And he excels. Like, Craig Gillespie is one of one in like these very weird character studies that are just totally unconventional. He usually structures them visually or narratively very unconventional. If you've seen I, Tonya, I think it's one of the best biopics I've ever seen, where, Margot Robbie playing Tonya Harding, where she's both like narrating kind of like her own life, and there's these flashbacks that jumps around. It's very kinetic. It's crazy. So Craig Gillespie is very good at character studies and making character studies into these much more interesting, visually interesting, because he like breaks reality in I, Tonya. It's like hyper real. There's like replays of sequences that are like, well, that's how I remember it, all of that stuff. And so he's very good at this. And I think this is going to be a fantastic character study of Supergirl. And I think I see why Millie Alcock kind of won out the audition process for what they're doing here and like kind of what version of Kara they're going with. I think this isn't like one-to-one like the comic. I think this is like this Kara isn't like the tall, blonde hair, blue eyed thing like from that comic and the way it's drawn. She's almost like ethereal kind of thing. This is a very real girl in a very kind of modern. This is a Gen Z kind of like coming of age superhero metaphor story. For all the, or even millennial, depending on how they approach this, for like all the trauma she's been through, all the things she's like not dealt with, and like all of this is going to be reflected in her trying to protect this younger girl from like all of this stuff, and having to deal with it. So that's what the comic is about essentially. But like, I think Craig Gillespie is going to be a much more like, not to pull out this old word we hate, but gritty and kind of visceral storyteller where, I can't believe I'm blanking on the writer's name. He's a friend of the show. Oh my God, guys, Tom King. Yes, thank you. More Tom King is much more kind of cerebral and analytical. Like, this is going to be much more emotional and kind of guttural. But I don't hate it. I think it's good marriage. And as people have pointed out, we have articles in this. I like how James Gunn is keeping this stuff kind of like story and standalone focused, but knowing, like, he knows the game. It's like, okay, we got to have these one or two kind of brush strokes come in, and then we can connect things. So like, yeah, there's a shot of her city, Kandor, while Krypton's being destroyed. You see this force field going down around it. And that could very well be our introduction to who Brainiac is. And this movie ends with Brainiac coming back and being like, and Kara finding out this person who destroyed her world and caused all this trauma is back. And that's where we get to Man of Tomorrow. And that's a compelling Kryptonian saga that uses Superman and Supergirl and their history and all the complicated stuff with that, and works that out. I think that's good. We have a actual, like, this is how the MCU started. We focused on Iron Man for a couple movies. We established that ground, his relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D., what S.H.I.E.L.D. was trying to do, all of that. And then we connected in Thor, Hulk, Captain America, and then we got Avengers. So I like how they're doing that. And also we throw in, Lobo for good measure, which is a new addition. So at least in the brief shot we got, Momoa looks like he's finally living his best life like he always wanted to, like 10 years ago. Yay.
Fun story about that. When James Gunn was given the reins to DC Studios, one of the first people to text him was Jason Momoa, who just said, "Congratulations, ... Lobo? ? Which is, I'm happy to see that play out. Yes to everything Janelle and Kofi said. I think that everybody, even if it won't really spoil it for you, but like, if you're listening and you haven't read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, cannot recommend that book enough. It gives so many layers to Kara's character. I think one of the best lines from this trailer that I really loved, and I'm saying this as a huge Superman guy, is, "My cousin sees the good in people and I see the truth." That's kind of like the best the best dynamic in terms of showing the difference between Clark and Kara.
It's literally the dynamic my mom once described to me about her and my dad. It's literally like, I'm not even playing. Like, that's like real. I heard that line and I was like, I got chills, and I was like, yeah, that's wife compared to husband. It's like, those are memes. We see all those memes now. It's like, my husband's the friendly, outgoing one. It's the wife like staring in the door, like, who are all these people? Like, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and that's the dynamic, and they nailed that. Now I got chills too when I heard that. I was like, oh yeah, man.
For those who don't know, like, one of the major differences between Superman and Supergirl is that Clark was sent from an exploding Krypton as a baby, whereas Kara experienced her entire life on, I think it was like on a planet that bordered Krypton, right? Or was it on Krypton directly? I can't keep up.
I think it was Krypton, a city of Krypton in a bubble.
Okay, yeah. Right?
They've changed the lore so much, but it's always basically she was like Krypton adjacent. It's either another, like, a separate city of people, or like some off-world moon place. Like, they changed the lore a lot, but she's not directly from the same place as Clark.
Yeah, so she's very, I mean, even in the trailer, they kind of allude to it, the fact that she is very, like, she's despondent about this, and she has a chip on her shoulder because she witnessed, like, her family dying her civilization dying, whereas Clark was a baby. He never knew about his original world. And I ironically enough, Kara's older than Clark, which I always found funny, even though like because she didn't age inside of the alien ship. But all that being said, they could not have picked a better comic to adapt into a movie in general. I think that like this is really going to surprise people, because I was, even before this movie was announced, I recommended to normie friends of mine to read Supergirl World of or Women of Tomorrow, because it's just,
normies.
yeah, the
AKA,
mudbloods,
AKA
those who
me.
don't know about the those who don't know about the geek world.
Wow.
Who are like, oh, what comics do you think I should read? And I would always be like, yeah, Supergirl Women of Tomorrow. And they're like, Supergirl, really? And I'm like, yes, because it's a story of I think there was a quote from James Gunn earlier this week where he said that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow or the Supergirl movie is going to be darker than Guardians 3. And it's like, yeah, I can see that if it's based on the source material, they stick to the source material. But yeah.
You kind of teed me up a little bit on that, because that's something I want to talk about, because I after this, right, I really enjoyed this trailer. We've been huge proponents of the book on the show for a long time. So I feel like we're seeing the difference, and I can't remember what movie came out, probably earlier this year or maybe last year, but we had a discussion on this show about like seeing the difference in reactions to, there really was a bold line between people who had read the source material and people who hadn't. And those reactions were very split, because you could tell that the people who had read knew what was coming, and so they graded it differently than the people who came in it's just blind, right? And I feel like we're seeing that again with Supergirl, because I went after what happens typically is, like, after I react to something, whatever my reaction is, I typically go and watch a bunch of different reactors and kind of gauge like what the vibe is. Also, I just like reaction videos in general. I do that to diss tracks all the time. I lived there with Kendrick and Drake, right? So like I watch all that stuff anyway, but I always go and watch a bunch. And I gotta tell you, I was pretty pissed off after seeing a lot of reactions to Supergirl, because all I saw was like, sometimes we go for the low-hanging fruit a little too much. And so like all I saw was, oh, it looks like Guardians. And oh wow, that's weird. Like, I wonder what that's about. Oh, Lobo. And I was like, okay, my God. Like I got really irritated, because, and then it was just, oh, well, that's interesting. It's like, I wish they showed more. And I wish that, and as someone who loves trailers, I also am very much open to the people, or I'm open to the fact that like, I like multiple trailers, and I don't necessarily need you to show me everything in the first trailer. This is very much a teaser trailer. Like, so, and the people I did notice who had read the source material were different. It was different. It was like, oh, like they're setting the table. I'm excited for this. They're hiding a lot of this and that, right? Because this is a very cosmic story. This story has flying, like energy dragons and all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. And this is mostly off world, right? This is mostly on Earth. In fact, like the majority of the plot that takes place on Earth is probably in the trailer. So, and there are things that are lifted one to one. Like the whole bar scene is literally a straight adaptation of the panel from the book. So there was just a part of me that was just like, I don't know. It felt kind of like either blissful ignorance or a little lazy nitpicking. And that bothered the snot out of me, because I don't know, like, yeah, duh, it's gonna get grander. They gotta set the tone first. Also, why is everyone against pee jokes in a thing? He's peeing on the paper. It's funny.
It's funny.
Just get over yourselves. I don't know. There's a little bit of me that's just very.
I think you guys got to back off the internet, dog. Like, I haven't even heard that much.
That drives me nuts. This is the
overwhelming
the opinions and the reactions that are out there, right? So, like, if you're gonna put it on film, I'm gonna grade it.
No, I mean, it's the opinions are all out there, but it's also important to pull back and, as you say, like, kind of get back to the normie space. I think in general, everybody in the world needs to start learning that, social media really is the cigarettes of our time. You really can't go by that. And it's like, I showed this to just the average person, including my autistic daughter, who was like, ooh, and like lit up. So I think the average person, like I said, this trailer is just a vibe check. It's just like, this is a Superman movie, but you ain't seen some ish like this before. Like, it's going to be, and it's for the girls. It's to say to the girls, like, yo, yes, this is a super person movie, but this is for y'all. There's a lot of coded things in here that, like, as Janelle said, like, hit and resonate, the age 22, 23, that whole kind of post 21, post young, going out into the world. Holy crap, this is all kind of a lot more nuts than I thought, or I have a lot to deal with type stuff. I think we'll speak to, like I said, a lot of Gen Zers. I think there's the dog, the
Also, like, you
untrained
think
dog.
you know everything at that age.
Exactly.
You're like, I know everything. So, like, I'm just going to do my own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get you. And it's
oh,
funny too, because
God.
you're right. Like I had Anissa watch it after I
Mhm.
watched it. And she was like, by the end of it, she was like, that looks good. I could see that. And she
Mhm.
really enjoyed Superman. Like she's not like a big Superman person. Like,
Yeah.
she's not a big like comics person in general, but also she's not a big Superman person. Really enjoyed that. So like after watching this, she was like, but like the moments that we talk about that like I feel like get the most opinions online are the ones that actually resonate with people. Cause like when she saw Crypto.
Yeah,
that's funny because he's being on Superman. It's funny, like that's for them and everybody else, and it feels like get over yourself if you can't. I don't know, enjoy it for that.
No, Craig Gillespie does a lot here. This is the portrait of a young Gen Zer coming of age at a time when the world is effed and like there's reason to, be depressed or anxious or whatever it is, and how are we really dealing with that? And there, like I said, there's a whole portrait that's painted right from the beginning. She owns a dog, but she's undisciplined. She's like sloppy. She's undisciplined. She's kind of shirking off responsibilities to kind of party all the time. Like she's in that place. We know that place. If you've ever been young, like if you're older than that age, you remember what it was. Like, what it was. You went to work for the couple hours a day. Then you took your money, met your friends at a bar, got hammered, passed out, woke up, repeat. Like we all, if you were in a certain place, you were either building in a relationship or in your whoring 20s and doing your thing that you don't speak about now, all that stuff. Like we all know what this is. And I think Craig Gillespie's the dude who's going to pull it off and really sell it as both things at once, a superhero story, but also these deeper levels. And I think girls is what they're going for. And I think they may pull this off with just the wider demographic. There's a lot of female rage out there right now that this might arrive perfectly for. To just, what girl right now doesn't feel like she just wants to take a mace and swing it in a circle? I can tell you it's a very small number, and just like, I just want to obliterate all your faces with this mace. Like there's a lot of ladies feeling like that right now. This movie might arrive in the perfect time. So we'll see. But I think this as a vibe check was a good one to make people make you something just to make you go,
Also, great song choice with Blondie.
Like everything they did is this color. Like everything in here, I'm like, oh, you guys sat down with a focus group and was like, what are ladies 20 to 39? Like, what are they? Where are they at right now? And it's like, what are they like? Let's look at Instagram. Let's pull the music. Let's look at colors, dynamics, dog, Blondie song, like.
That's an interesting take, though. You're really obviously saying that let's do it for the girls. The girls are going to love it. But do you guys feel like you're on board too? Like you think you'll love it and other men will as well?
The first comments in this thread were rating where Millie Alcock sits on a hotness level. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll muddle through.
Good.
Okay, boys, we'll muddle through somehow. We'll figure this out. It's a big sci-fi superhero thing with a pretty girl at the center. We'll figure it out. We'll muddle through. I don't know if we're going to be watching it on the same levels, but like we'll figure it out.
I'm stoked. I cannot wait. This is day one watch right here. So and I don't know if this might be again, like I couldn't take Ember couldn't watch Superman in the theater because like there's just scenes that like are too much, right? For her, because we watched the trailers and she was like, she kind of turned away, right? But everything else was great. So like watching on streaming, you can skip those parts. It's the same reason like you skipping Wicked, skip the parts, right? So like here, I'm sure for streaming for her, but for me, it'll be day one. No, can't wait.
Ain't none of that in my house. My kids get bird boxed, watch, see, you're not turning away. I started rolling out the Amblin. You kids need to know what it is. You want to go exploring in a cave? Some possibly really dangerous psychosexual maniacs might be coming after you, and they're a family. So keep running. Yeah, Goonies. So
True.
oh yeah, when you rewatch Goonies, you're like, this movie is not okay. It starts with
I mean,
a
you
prison
rewatch
murder and
any
a
movie
breakout,
from the
and you're like,
70s and
whoa.
80s. That's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe.
But literally,
You're
the
like-
first scene of Goonies is the one brother murdering the warden and getting out of prison by murdering some guards and stuff, and like walking
pretty,
outside. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, ignore this.
Talk about a tone setter.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Oh man.
That's the
So
tone from the
I was just
beginning.
writing about Gremlins, and it's still berserk that Gremlins is not only was a PG movie, but it was a PG Christmas movie.
That's crazy.
Craziness.
Yeah, we were on that cocaine, boy. Woo! In the 80s, it was just straight farm to table. Anyway, let's get on. Supergirl, how do we get here? So Supergirl's out. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm not going to take too much time. The Boys' first trailer for season 5 is out. Again, this is also the same thing. It's kind of a vibe check. This one's make it seem ominous. It's to let us know all bets are off. Our characters may not make it out. Not everybody's safe. And, setting up the seasonal storylines. But I don't want to get too stuck on this because we've had some other breaking news that I think is a little bit more interesting. But as a vibe check, what did you guys think about this?
Can I just say I had fallen off of The Boys. Like I literally stopped watching it, and now this trailer has me going, oh man, I gotta catch up. I have to watch this last season. I'm actually so sold. What the heck? So there we go. I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this like in January to catch up.
It's very funny because I always consider like the Boys TV show is way better than the source material, which doesn't happen a lot, I think. But like, I enjoyed season 4, and I really, I mean, we talked about it in the past, but I really liked the first season of Gen V. Second season was kind of not as good, but yeah, it's the final season. I'll for sure check it out. It's we're gonna have to say goodbye to Anthony Starr's Homelander, one of the greatest villains in live action comic book history. So yeah.
True. Yeah, great. Look, this was a great trailer. I'm with Janelle. Like there were parts of season 4 that I was watching just because like, oh, I'm watching. I want to make sure I know what's happening. And season 4 very much felt like a prologue to season 5. It was a lot of setup. We're moving the pieces around the board so that season 5 can be awesome. And so this trailer shows like, okay, here's why we did all that stuff. Great music choice. Great. This was a fantastic trailer. So, I mean, I was always going to watch it, but I'm actually excited. But it is the perfect time for this to end as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I mean, I don't think they should show much more than this. I really don't. Yep. I think they should just
I agree.
Do these kind of like, I think if anything, they should do the kind of classic, just show us like really tense scenes of things about to happen and just like, hey, we're going in, and then just keep showing us the thing because we don't need to see too much. Like, unless you're going to give us, because this doesn't seem like there's no laughs in this. This isn't funny like anymore. Like we're down to this is the point where I'm interested in this season of The Boys because The Boys is always a satire, right? And so it's always making fun of things. But this is the point where the show just kind of has to eat its own tail and finish its own lore and wrap itself up. So I'm kind of interested in what that looks like. But like I said, I don't want to get too bogged down on this. It's out there. You can check it out on Comicbook.com. Matt, we had a big trailer drop last night. You talk about that?
The Game Awards, for those who were watching, had a lot of reveals, and we'll get to some of the other ones, the game-specific ones later on. But they also dropped the first footage of the Street Fighter movie, which has been making headlines for a long time now because of the crazy casting. And man, the footage, I don't know, man, the footage backs it up. It's cool to see most of, if anything, all the characters and this cast actually show up looking, man. Cody Rhodes' Guile is just pure. That's just pure perfection. And you got to see a lot of them look really good. We also got a number of looks. One of the ones who's not in this trailer is actually Blanca. But if you saw the character posters, which are also up on Comic Book as well, he got his full featured debut there. Looking pretty cool. Can't wait to actually see him in footage and fighting with people. Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki is as crazy as we thought it would be. Ryu and Ken look great. Chun-Li Cammy looks like she jumped out of the video game. 50 Cent is Balrog. He's having quite a month. So
Yes, he is.
yeah,
This is
man,
great.
looking great. Dalsim looks fantastic. Like they really did a great job of some of these one-to-one recreations, and it looks as bonkers and as fight heavy as a Street Fighter movie should be. So I'm highly optimistic as long as it kind of embraces this, continues to embrace it for the film. But what do you guys think?
Man, again, I sound like a broken record, but this is what the trailers have been all week. This is another vibe check. It's a kind of like, hey, here it is. Now you kind of know what it is. Get your head around it. And this is what we're going for. And I personally love this. Like, I like that it's clearly not taking itself seriously, that it's clearly going to be this kind of heightened, like super heightened, like almost video game, as if video game dynamics were real, like in the real world kind of thing, and silly and winking and with all the things for kids. Because first thing I did was text my brothers, and we're like, yo, brothers screening, like we're going to see this, because this was our lives, sitting in a room around a Super Nintendo screaming and talking trash to each other over Street Fighter matches till somebody cried, was like our entire brotherhood is based on. Like, and so being in the arcade, Gen Z, you guys can mute up for this, but being in the arcade and like losing your money into some 40-year-old creep who knows how to do everything and just completely perfect your ass with like E-Hunt or something, and having to learn and go back and spend the money and do the time and actually like almost train yourself to be good and get in there and start beating on people in Street Fighter was like, there's something character building about that. I know that sounds crazy, but it really did. I see it missing in today's games and stuff. And like, there's just something really good about it, but we know all this stuff, so well. Hadouken, if you just scream that out in the room, like half the room is going to turn around and be like, oh, everybody's going to do that. And they know that. So I like that, like the world that they have already created in this feels like it's not real. The way it's shot, the way it's kind of, angled. And I dig it. I'm already ready to play in this world and just kind of go and just see the silliest type stuff happen. It almost reminds me of the 95 Mortal Kombat in that vibe.
That's
kind of
exactly what I was gonna say. And
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah. And I think and they got it right. Eric Andre just over there. You can tell this is going to be fun.
Being an idiot.
Yeah. This is
Dude,
going to be
Guile. I
fun.
can't get over the Guile. Oh my god.
I
It looks so good.
when I saw this originally, I was so conflicted because it's like, yeah, I really like appreciate the fact that they're going hog wild on it. Clearly, like they're really leaning into the ridiculousness of it. But also, I don't know if everybody else on the podcast has seen it before. Has anybody else seen Street Fighter the animated movie?
It got me in it, and bro, we don't talk enough about this, but that is, people say Akira, people say Ninja Scroll, people say Dragon Ball, people say Naruto, but no. What really broke open the door for American anime was Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, and The Hunt for the Unrated Director's Cut. That was what got kids into anime. That was the crossover moment.
That movie was so good in terms of like having a balance between amazing fight scenes and like the barest of plots that kind of brings it all together. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. Like it is ridiculous seeing Cody Rhodes sporting the actual Guile hair. But hey, like, if you're gonna be true to the source.
Yeah, what'd you think it looked like?
Somehow you're gonna do that. I'm still when we were talking about it, I remember we were talking about it earlier this year when I think it was announced earlier this year that Roman Reigns was playing Akuma.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no human being alive could play Akuma. And seeing him, I still kind of believe no human being alive could play Akuma, but I'm willing to like see kind of what he does with the role and everything. I think that like, seeing the Game Awards and seeing, number one, that guy who plays Zangief is like 8 feet tall, which
he's
is
from Reacher.
He is Zangief.
He's
he
Reacher.
is Zangief.
Did you see Reacher season 3? He's Paulie.
No. Oh, he's in that. I'm gonna have to start watching
There's
that.
you gotta go watch that just for this. There's a whole seasonal arc about him and Alan Richardson sizing each other up because he's like the one guy who's bigger than him, and he's like the bodyguard for the bad guy. And the whole season they're just talking trash and almost fighting, and then in the finale they have this drag out like crazy ass fight where like one thinks the other's dead, and then he's like walking up the road and looks back, and the other guy's like crawling out of the woods and like they're having this limp chase. It's great. Like he's a funny actor. He was great in Reacher. So yeah,
as long as this movie has something akin to the line of from the animated movie that I still love to this day, which is Ken, what do you see in front of your fist? My fate. Yeah, just like put some dumb lines like that in it.
That's
and I'm
so ridiculous. With the 5 fingers, say the face, like it's in that territory. Like, hey, geez.
No, Andrew Koji's going to hold it. There's a mix here. That's what I like. There's going to be a mix of dramatic actors and people who are just going to be hamming it up. And like, I think we're going to have fun. But I think what I'm saying, because some people said this is going to be cheesy. And yes, I think that's the point, though. But on top of the cheese,
you have to make it cheesy.
We're going to see awesome martial arts stunts action, too. Like, don't sell this short. Like, there's sequences like just holding up with the kick and holding her up and that kind of shot, and the flip kick looks
like that twisting
good. Like,
slam that we just saw.
We're going to see wrestling moves. We're going to see all types of martial arts. We're going to see actual kind of mixes of fights we're never going to see anywhere else. And the stunt action looks like it's going to be cool. So like, I think we're going to have this weird kind of mix. It's going to be like Cobra Kai or Karate Kid or something. Like, yeah, I think we're going to have fun with this one, but that's just my early estimation. And I think more than anything, they were smart because this movie is built for the social media era. Like this is built to be memed already, to have whatever person reaching from whatever demographic globally, from the wrestling crowd to the hip hoppers, to the martial arts fans, to like everybody, to the gamers, like everybody's going to have some reason to be like, ooh, this appeals to me. And so I think we got a good chance with this one. Yeah. But, you know, it's distributed by Paramount. I don't want to give them too much credit. All right. All right. So in addition to Street Fighter, Evan, we also got some breaking news while we've been sitting up here. We should just close out.
HBO Max released a trailer, a trailer of various snippets of major series that they are going to release in 2026. This, of course, includes House of the Dragon, Euphoria coming back, The Pit, Dune Prophecy, and most relevant to us, the first 11 seconds of Lanterns, the DC series that will see Aaron Pierre taking on the role of Jon Stewart with Hal Jordan kind of mentoring him on Earth. It's going to be something akin to, I think they were kind of selling it as something like True Detective, but superheroes, which I'm super excited to see. It doesn't show them in the full Lantern regalia yet, but it kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of the dynamic between Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan right there. So there's so many other things that were a part of this trailer, and it just dropped, but I like how there's an untitled Larry David project that's being shown.
Yeah, but I hope they keep it that tight. I hope that is the title.
It's called. Oh, dude, I would love that. Untitled Larry David project. Have you seen the latest Untitled Larry David project? But no, what did everybody else think?
ULDP. I think Lanterns was interesting. I think it was a reverse Training Day, and I think that was kind of interesting. I mean, yeah, Kyle Chandler in the kind of Denzel role was. I mean, I didn't expect that. Kyle Chandler's so like, you know, buttoned down and kind of straightforward, but like, yeah, seeing him jump from a car and be like, well, here's your ring, get out of this, and be like, oh, that's the vibe we're going for. Like, okay, like I was a little bit more interesting, you know, the salt and pepper, Hal. This is we're catching Hal at a different point. Matt, do you think we could get a parallax out of this?
Ooh.
Man, you know, it's funny. That's the thing that most excites me about this movie is that we are getting an older Hal, and I just think that opens so much more up as terms of story. Like we could go there right sooner than expected. Like we don't have to go through the entire arc of Hal's career before getting to Parallax and all of that, the corruption, if they decide to go that way. But this whole dynamic, like everyone knows it's old hat here. I was never the biggest Hal Jordan fan. Kyle Rayner for life. As the best Lantern, and then it's Chip. But like
you were so funny. You were such a '90s kid.
I agree.
Then it's Kilowog and Sordik Natu and all these other Lanterns that I love. But and Joe Moline, who's amazing. But yeah, no, like I feel like this is what excites me most about this. Like if you're going to build around John Stewart, it makes sense to go with Hal as kind of that 1-2 punch there. But having him further along in his career, I feel like probably takes and having someone as I feel like innately likable as Chandler playing the character takes some of the rough edges off of the like hot shot thing that sometimes can turn people against Hal very quickly as fans, that sometimes that like cocky demeanor is a little off-putting, and so here I feel like he can do a very good job of rounding those edges, being that mentor, still being a badass himself, and then we can go into some cool territory down the line. I'm stoked for that. Like that's and by the way, Jadon Foster, John is fantastic. You will not get any shade from me. Guy Gardner fans, he's fantastic. Like there's so many Lanterns out there that are fantastic. And even no shade to Hal, because if you've been reading Jeremy Adams' run on Green Lantern, he wanted me back over to the Hal camp. I'm a Hal fan because of what he's done with the character. So even no shade to Hal, I'm just saying, it's great, and I'm excited for what we can do here. So yeah, I dug it. Very small piece, but maybe we'll get a full trailer soon. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they have the footage, so it's out there. House of the Dragon looks like we're gonna get some big battles. I'm surprised did we see more? I've only gotten a kind of glance at this. Did we get more of the Hedge Knight? No, I didn't see it. Man, that's interesting. Dune Prophecy coming back. I forgot about that, but yeah. This is gonna be interesting. And the vibe, like the True Detective vibe I get now, like, and it's gonna be interesting to see. I think it's good. Sometimes you have to slow walk people into some of this lore. I think the problem with the Green Lantern movie in 2011 was just too far out there. So I think you have to kind of start with just on the ground, 2 guys, little bit of powers, and then gradually show that these guys belong to a much bigger thing once we know them and we can be more grounded. So, good thing. I just thought my biggest thought was the balls on them dropping this trailer for HBO Max with a price at the end. Bro, dog, we don't even know if you're going to be here next week. Like, what are you talking about? I might just be having to negotiate this on Netflix. Like, come on, stop playing in my face.
They got a year,
like,
man. They got a year. They got to get that money for a year.
Oh, do they still got a year? Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, because like that deal won't be finalized for at least a year, even if it goes through. So
okay, yeah, but you're signing me up. You're like, it's like signing up for or trying to start one of those Netflix shows you already know is canceled. You know what I mean? Like that's what this is feeling like.
This would be the time to grab the annual plan, because you could deck out as soon as it's
let me go monthly, dog. Let me just pay you as we go. Let's make sure you're still here tomorrow. Anyway, but that's my little joke about HBO. All right. We're going to take a break unless anybody has anything they need to get off. And then when we come back, we'll check in with TV real quick and talk about our best of TV for the year. Stay tuned. Okay, we are back. Let's talk. I don't know why we say back. We are back because after the breaks, we're never going to be like back. But all right, let's talk about TV this week. I started Pluribus, but I fell asleep. I know it's about our dude from the storage facility. He's on his way to meet Carol. Yeah, I'm gonna finish that up, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that. Yeah, will you leave me alone so I can pod?
He likes Pluribus.
She's
He likes Pluribus.
girl. Yeah, this is Cammy. This is our dog now. It's a new dog, and we never let her go, but she's bothering me as I'm trying to pod. So Welcome to Derry. We got the burning of the black spot. It was as horrible as I imagined, like a little mini Sinners episode.
Oof,
What did you guys think of that?
that was a rough episode, man. That just had like it just goes to show how they are more than willing to get into some really dark and brutal and gory territory. I loved the scene of Pennywise encountering his quote unquote daughter, where she's like, oh, daddy, and he's like, oh, and he like takes a bite of the top of that guy's head like an apple. That's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen. But the idea, I love the idea of him just being like, I have to go to sleep, and she's like, you're not my father. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, there's one episode left, right? Of this, can somebody back? Is it 8 episodes? Is it 10? I know that was like
I don't
7,
know
right?
how many episodes are left, but I'm questioning myself as we're heading into the holidays why I'm continuing to watch this nightmare.
It's a rough watch.
It's
man.
great, but oh my gosh. You're muted, Kofi.
That's the thing. Every episode of the show is doing well creating nightmare fuel. Like at least one scene of nightmare fuel that goes out on the internet, gets memed, clipped to death. The things that people have been saying at that ending of this episode where he attacks Mike, or not Mike, Will, or whatever his name is, and like he shows up half bloody. The jokes people have made about that are just, you all are nasty. But like girls are the worst. You guys are so nasty. But yeah, like it gets clipped up, it goes viral. Like they're creating horror every week and successfully creating at least one moment of significant horror every week and kind of furthering it. And like I said, I think it was brilliant that this show started by keeping Pennywise out of it and establishing that it could do this, that it could pull you in, horrify you, intrigue you, and do this. Because like I said, because some people were saying, oh, it's been like 5 episodes and you Pennywise. And it's like, cool. But when you get to episode 6, now he's in the rest of the show. We go from, 6, 7 to like 10, 11, right? And so, sorry, I have kids. And so, yeah, and that's what they've done. Now that Pennywise is here, it's 10 times scarier because there's something actively stalking people, actively killing people. And like, even in the midst of that horrible burning, to see then in the already horrible thing we're in, something even more, the stakes go up even more. I was like, oh man, like, in the middle, it was stressed. It's like, oh, now Pennywise is here. And it's like, oh, great. This is now even more terrifying. And then we had to see our boy Richie. They handled that a lot better than I thought. I was like, if this show is going to get crazy, if they handle this the wrong way and it's just gruesome for a little kid. But no, they did that in like a good way. They pulled that off. They know when to pull it back. They know when they can get it forward. Like you can have said, you can have a casual scene of Pennywise having a conversation while he's chewing on somebody's head. Yeah, which is just nuts. But yeah, this show is, they did more than I ever thought they could with all of this. So,
and it's so interesting this week because after reading The Absolute Batman, just to like tie it all in, the comments, like I will say, like there is this line in that comic that is like, it tells the like bitter truth about clowns and how like clowns were never good. Like they've always been terrible and they like are always evil. And I went, yep. So I love how the two tie together. And
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it when I was reading Absolute. So funny.
No, but yeah, that Absolute. We'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, so this, I'm like that. I'm just checking in to say they've done even no matter how it finishes, they did more with this than I ever thought they could, which is, and it's pretty amazing. There's also a lot of amazing content out there right now. Last Samurai Standing on Netflix is another one we checked in with, but it's so, I'm deepening in that and it's really good. I don't know how I missed it, but it came up and I heard somebody start talking to me about it as I've been looking at Pluribus on Apple TV. Dark Matter with Joel Edgerton and Jennifer Connelly I never watched, based on the book series. So I started that up, and I am obsessed. That show, I don't know how we missed that. We really screwed that up last year, because this is one of the best kind of like sci-fi cult hit series I've seen in years, and it's so good. And if you don't know what it is, check it out on Apple. I'll give you the basic premise. Joel Edgerton plays this kind of physicist who gave up his career to marry Jennifer Connelly, have a kid, settle down, become a teacher. And one night he goes out. Oh, Richard. I put the trailer in. I thought he just grabbed that. I was like, Richard, you're the man. And he goes out for a drink one night, and he gets abducted by a masked man who holds him at gunpoint, and he knocks him out. And when he wakes up, he's in a world where he doesn't recognize anything. Like, his wife isn't his wife. Like, his job is everything is different. And he basically finds out that one of his own variants lived a life where he didn't marry his wife. He pursued a career, and he invented basically a real life version of Schrodinger's box that can let him go through the multiverse. But he decided he wanted to have this other life, so he swaps places with him. And that's the beginning of the show. So he wakes up and he's in his variant's life, and he's like, what the hell is going on, while his variant is living out his life. And this leads, but where this leads, you will never, ever expect. And how this goes and what this show becomes is insane. But we missed it last year. Sorry. Dark Matter on Apple. Yeah, check that out. It is in Jennifer Connelly, Joel Edgerton. What's my Alice Braga from like Predators? Like, this cast is really good. My boy from McPoyle from Always Sunny. Like, it's just a really good show. Check that out. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk comics. Man. Oh, I also promised you. Oh, best of TV. The whole thing.
We gotta do that, man.
Let's do this quick. Let's get through this quick. Everybody just give your 3 and we'll keep it moving, okay? Tell us why. Janelle, do you want to go first, or do you guys want me to step into the breach first?
You go ahead. I'm going to try to like fill in gaps, because I feel like we're going to be aligned here a lot.
Yeah, Operation Dark Coverage, just like the South Park movie going. We're going to deploy first. Here we go. Step in front of the bullets. All right, I'll give you my 3. My number 3 pick for best TV of the year was The Studio. The Studio, Apple TV again.
I didn't watch that.
Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, our girl, I forget her name all the time, the young kind of half Asian actress in that, who's also been in like she's been a lot. She had a big year. She was in the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake. I don't know why I sit here and stall for time and do all this, because I could just look it up. Chase Sui Wonders. Also the whole cast. Ike Barinholtz, who's finally got something like he deserves to do. Sal Saperstein. Thank you, Sal Saperstein. But The Studio is just a parody of Hollywood. It's Seth Rogen is a guy who gets basically put in charge of like Paramount. But he has no idea what he's doing, and his first task is to make a Kool-Aid movie that he wants to be an artist who's the artistic prestige studio head, but it's like money-making time, and it's just a hilarious situational comedy. And each episode is filmed in a very it is guerrilla, kind of like on their back, almost like documentary style filmmaking, as they go through these increasingly funny. It's a little bit of Larry David. It's a little bit of like The Office or something. And it's just great. And if you are in the entertainment biz and work in movies, influencer, actor, whatever, you got to check out this series. The Studio is great. Second show I'm going to say is Task. I didn't want to put pluribus in this, recency bias, but Task, HBO's Task. Brad Inglesby, who did Mayor of Easttown. I'm a PA boy. These are all very Pennsylvania shows made by a kid who grew up the street from me around the same time. Funny enough, he's doing a lot better. But yeah, Task is just good character drama, crime drama, thrilling, great cast, great acting, great writing, and just what you come to HBO for every Sunday night. That prestige, kind of edge of your seat, like just good stuff. And I'm happy they're doing another season, because Brad Inglesby is on fire right now in terms of modern kind of neo-noir crime dramas. And of course, number 1, what else am I going to say, buddy? What else? What other television show fits the times and did the things and made us feel the things we needed to, besides Andor? So Andor season 2 is my number 1. All I'm going to say as the year ends is we all need to go watch key scenes of that and just, really lock into what that show was about, because, Tony Gilroy, he was not just making a show. He was putting up a signal flare and saying, yo, this is what it is. And this is what sometimes it has to be. And you got to lock in and be ready. And so, yeah, that was my number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Andor is fantastic. So,
Yep.
who wants to go next?
I mean, I'll go next. I knew that was
Cool.
going to happen. I knew that we would all love Andor.
Oh
So,
yeah.
can we just say I'm going to leave it off my list, but it is number one. It was, I wrote down like all these things that I was like, I love Andor for this, and Kofi hit them all as I knew he would. So my number 3 was Righteous Gemstones.
Ooh.
Oh, great
yeah.
show.
It was the final season of this, and
All I want is an 8-ball and $2 million.
growing up in the South, like this just hit hard. Like I had one of those like super churches down the street from us, and we would watch every Sunday like thousands of people get in their parking lot, and they spent like millions on this huge place. And we would drive by it, and we're always like, this is such an eyesore. Like, what is this thing? And it was like a joke of my neighborhood. So to see it kind of play out in like a parody kind of way, but also be violent, like super irreverent, profane, like it was just I just thought this was a hilarious and just delicious show.
You want to hear something embarrassing?
Go for it.
I was just in the bathroom brushing my teeth like 2 days ago when I finally, in preparing for this, reading over TV shows of the year, when I finally got the joke of even the title of the show. Like I didn't even get what the title of the show was saying about the hypocrisy of everything.
Yeah.
To be a what is a righteous gemstone and that whole concept and what it means.
It was a really smart show.
It's a very deep and very biting church joke. Like that's a very deep church joke. Like righteous, but you have to have the gemstones. You know, like it's a whole thing. But I started cracking up. I was like, oh, they were so good.
And honestly, like since it came out, like I've just loved the show. And I think the final season sometimes, you know, isn't great. And they came through. Like I feel like the final season was awesome. My number 2, this is gonna sound, I don't know if you guys even know that I watched this, but The Gilded Age. This is on HBO, and it's set in New York during, I think it's like the 19th century, and it's kind of like Bridgerton, but not as phony baloney, you know. And I feel like there's like a lot of references to American history and things like that, and also they kind of put a spotlight on people from different backgrounds and what they were actually going through at the time. And even like, you know, the differences when, you know, New York was trying to grow up and, you know, be awesome. But obviously there's like a love story and stuff in there too. But it's not obnoxious. Like I love Bridgerton, but it's not just all about like courtship and love stuff. It's about business. It's about, you know, like even the dialects, like the accents that they use, you're like, what is this accent? Are they British or are they American? What is this? Like, it's just really interesting. The costuming is gorgeous. And I love the show. And then my number 1 was
You sold the hell out of that. You just sold the hell out of that.
My mom is obsessed with it. And she was like, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. And I was like rolling my eyes for like the first season, like, oh, okay, whatever. And then finally she was in town visiting and it was on and I couldn't help it. It was one of those like moments that I feel like you guys have with your wives with some of the superhero content. I was kind of like, what is that over there? What is that? What's she watching? And then I got sucked in. I couldn't help it. Yeah, it's really neat. But my number 1, I hope this counts as 2025. Obviously, this was thrown in at the end of the year. But Stranger Things, I've watched this first drop 3 times. I watched initially on my phone, just trying to get through it so that I could be ready for the podcast. But then I was like, no, I really want to see this on the TV. Like this looks so awesome. And I love it so much. So I rewatched it with my husband, but we kind of got out of sync. So anywho, I've watched it 3 times. And that is a big deal for me because I don't have time to be watching shows 3 times. I just, the story, thank God they're doing amazingly as they always do. And I love that it's kind of our running joke that we always underrate it, especially like Kofi and I were like, it's I mean, great. And then it comes out and it's incredible. And can I just say like the violence of this, like the violence in this one they are going for it. They are not holding back. This is not a little kid show anymore. Like we're seeing Vecna with hands go through someone's face, and we're watching it all. It's not just like a cutaway of blood splattering. So it's really intense and very rewarding if you've been watching it all these years. So worth the wait, I'd say.
You can tell where the budget went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This year you can
Yeah.
tell. It's like, oh, there's like 9 portals in the first 2 episodes, and they're just going back and forth, and there's like 9
And
Demogorgons
don't the
on
portals
screen at
look
any given time.
amazing? The
God.
portals are so awesome.
Well, Janelle teed me up, so I'll go next because
Perfect.
I'll touch on Stranger Things because that's on my list. I'll start with The Witcher. Everyone knew. Everyone knows my list, probably. Everyone knows my list, probably. I will say an honorable mention is Wednesday because I adored this season of Wednesday, but it just couldn't quite meet the top 3. But Witcher, I will say, like after season 3, which I was disappointed in season 3, especially upon rewatch of that season. There were just things that didn't quite click for me. Season 4 kind of restored my okay, we're back on track. and heading into the last season, it's very much in boys territory of I'm glad it's ending with season 5 because this again they have a focal point and they can move the story forward and we're getting all the pieces in place. But all of the characters they brought in the season, I just love. I mean, those are favorites from the books and the games, but I mean, especially Regis and he adds so much. I thought they did such a good job with Yennefer's story. I really like Ciri's story. I also went and watched The Rats and talk about brutality. Even if you watch the final episode of The Witcher and then you watch The Rats, it's insane. There's some brutal stuff in there. But I thought all of the characters got their moments and I really enjoyed it. So teed up season 5, which is going to be bonkers. If you've read the books as far as like time, space, and all this other stuff is concerned. Very excited for that. And then my number 2 was I talked about this recently. The Mighty Nine is just fantastic. That's a fantastic show. I know, sometimes we talk about animation and things on here, and I know Janelle's not a big fan of animation, but I would say maybe you want to give this a little bit of a watch because the characters are just so well defined. Their interactions are great. There's a dark story. There's dark stuff to this show, but it approaches it with a little bit of a whimsy and a little bit of a lightheartedness that balances things out really well. Also, the action is brutal. They do a lot of great stuff here. And by the end of the season, I was very excited. So I'm hoping we get a season 2 greenlit at some point. So that made a very big impression on me here. And then number 1 was Stranger Things. Look, I make no bones about it. I love this show. Every single time it hits, it is like on demand watch, and I just adore it. And we've rewatched it now. It's become a household staple. Like me and Anissa watch it together. I watch it separately. Like all this stuff. I've rewatched these episodes. And by the way, those first 4 episodes of this volume are so incredibly rewatchable. There's so many great little interactions and things that you actually don't catch maybe on the first time through. All of the characters have grown and changed, and they feel compelling, and they're not just stuck in the same place. So I love the show. I cannot wait for Christmas Day because it's Christmas Day, right? It's the next drop for the 4, and then it's New Year's, and my New Year's plans are to watch the finale. So cannot wait. Yeah, so that was my best TV. Evan?
Yeah. Really, really quickly, I wanted to give an honorable mention to Netflix's Long Story Short, which I absolutely loved. It's from the creator of BoJack Horseman. It didn't make my top 3 just because this was a really stacked year in terms of stuff, but it's a touching, heartwarming series that follows the past, present, and future of a Jewish family, and it just works. It's really, really good. And I know it's not getting the same glaze as like BoJack Horseman, but I would arguably say that I like it a little bit better. And I was a big fan of BoJack Horseman. I don't know if it's going to get another season, but check it out if you haven't had the opportunity. That being said, my number 3 is Task. Much like Kofi said, Task is an amazing show in terms of its acting. Mark Ruffalo nails it. Everything works well in terms of the crime elements of it, how everything goes from bad to worse in terms of a guy who is looking for revenge against like the motorcycle gang that killed his brother. It's just amazingly well acted. Everything works. Everything clicks. It's amazing. My number 2 is The Chair Company. I don't know if anybody else here has watched The Chair Company, but oh my God. It's for those who don't know, it's Tim Robinson's recent HBO Max show. It feels
That
like
dude's great.
it feels like I Think You Should Leave mixed with Twin Peaks. It is absolutely amazing. It's one of the funniest and scariest shows. I would say it's arguably scarier than Welcome to Derry. I have been thinking, I saw the finale 2 weeks ago. I'm still thinking about it to this day. The final 2 minutes of that finale is burned into my brain forever. And of course, my number 1 is Andor. Andor is the greatest Star Wars thing ever made. There's no competition. It's perfect for this era in time, as well as showing the best parts of the Star Wars universe. I know that like we've talked about it to death and everything, but one of the things that I think worked so well, like for me about Andor, isn't just like the underground rebellion element of it fighting against the Empire. They created a Jedi in this show that I think was the best representation of a Jedi without like having like a lightsaber or anything like that. The way that she was connected to the Force was such a good way without flat out saying, "Oh, she's a Jedi." It just worked amazingly well. And side note, I already have my pick for the best show of 2026 because I have been watching it in the background, but I can't talk about it because I am embargoed. But next month I will be able to talk about it. So look out for that. Yeah, that's my list.
Wow. Ending with a little just nip
Low
tease,
key
okay?
flex right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we go. That's our favorite TV. Hey, we did that pretty succinctly, guys. I'm proud of us. Good job. I'm not going to say anything about Avatar. I don't want to take up too much time. I saw it. It's Avatar. You know the experience. If you're in, you're in. It's going to be visually more impressive. If you're not, you're not. It's even longer this time. Make your choice.
Yeah, I also saw Avatar, and I saw it a couple weeks ago. And
yeah, me too.
I would say it's the best Avatar movie ever made, but I'm not a big Avatar guy. So kind of a low bar for me. But it's you get what you want from it.
Yeah, you get your money's worth, and it's better than 2. It's like an upgraded version of 2. So there you go. All right, let's talk about the real thing. Absolute Batman number 15. Woo! We got a Joker origin story for the ages. This is Scott Snyder finally not having to be bogged down and work within established Joker lore, but 3 Joker lore, but getting to craft his own. And wow, what an issue. What a story. And this is what Scott Snyder does so well. This story is as out there as they come comic book wise. I mean, it's like immortality, monster side, as you can see from the Jekyll Hyde thing from the cover. But the writing that he does and the points that he makes are so good. They really, I mean, as Janelle said, they like stick with you long after, and they even transform your kind of view of things. So like he breaks down in this issue, like what a clown is essentially, like what the nature of a clown is, and really kind of nails it. And then tells you this story and almost Rashomons it, tells you 2 different ways. And I thought this was really well done and frames it as a conversation between Batman and Alfred, which again is so well done. And you never lose track of that because Batman's constantly like, get to the damn point. Like, who is this guy? And kind of meta, like having a meta joke because he's speaking, of course, for us, the audience, who have been waiting 15 issues to figure out like who this Joker is.
Very meta.
Yeah. But I thought it was very well done in establishing the reality of this Joker, who he is, what he's done, and we still don't have all the answers. Like some very big pieces missing, but I thought this was a good kind of start and setup, slow roll to what's going to make Batman in this world and Joker in this world, and why they're going to be so kind of very different. I love that line, too brutal, but when they collide, it's going to be brutal.
Man, this is well, okay, before I go in, Janelle, what did you think? Because look, you're our Joker person. Joker is your favorite character. This was a Joker spotlight. What did you think?
So I I know I'm not supposed to do this. I had to take a screenshot of this Joker and send it to my friends and go, do not post this anywhere. It has my watermark on it, but I'm losing my mind. And because they also know that I'm the Joker person. I just love that Joker is so awful and has such a cool and wacky backstory, and that he's like, it's giving Bruce Wayne vibes because of, he has like his own
Yeah.
butler and his own mansion, and he's a billionaire, and oh god,
Mr. Grimm.
it's so good. Like, this is just so well done. Obviously, I feel that it was kind of wordy, this read. Like, in the beginning, like, I was like, oh, it's only 17 pages. I can blow right through this. And then I realized they're like stacked pages. They're like two,
Yeah.
they're counting 2 pages as one. And I'm like, oh, dang it. Like, this is good. And then I forgot, while you're going, you forget. I don't know where I am. I don't know what page I'm on because I'm so invested in the story. I did kind of identify with Bruce. I was getting very annoyed. I'm like, just spit it out, dude. Just say what you're trying to say. You're annoying me. And I feel like that's what they wanted me to do. So
You're right.
bravo, brilliant. You got emotion out of me. I was pissed. I was like, shut up, stop. Just tell me. I'm obsessed. I don't even know how I'm gonna enjoy comics again after reading The Absolutes. Seriously, I don't know how I'm ever gonna enjoy anything the way that I enjoy these. I'm scared.
It's so funny that, like, when we had a chance to talk to Scott Snyder before, as the Absolute Universe was kind of launching at things, and he was very open about the fact that, like, when they were coming up with ideas and creators and who to reach out to, he pitched Absolute Batman to multiple people, and it was always like, I've got this idea for Batman, and I cannot remember the writer who told him this, and I'm blanking on which writer it was, but when he pitched it, it was like, oh, we've got Batman too, like, because he wasn't going to write it. He just kind of had the idea and stuff, and they were like, yeah, who should write that? You should write that. That feels like a you book, like that. And to now see what has happened in the interim, where we are now, I cannot see anyone else writing this, getting this to this point, really diving into these characters and pulling different quirky, weird, oddball concepts out and blending it all together. I cannot. Scott Snyder has. I've always been a fan of Scott Snyder. Death metal for life. DC metal rules. You can't convince me otherwise, Kofi. I see you shaking your head. You cannot. I love that book. But this is, and in the comments, it's put very well. This is a masterclass in storytelling and building characters and Joker's. It's one of those things, we've seen a bunch of different iterations of Joker over the years. So to really surprise with it and go different ways is hard. It's not easy. And a dude essentially, Craven the Huntering on the multiple islands, and the kids aspect of this is disturbing, and all of the things. They really built the lore behind this character. It's amazing. I cannot commend Snyder and crew enough what they've done. So this issue is fantastic. You should go read this book. And yeah, Evan, what do you think?
Yeah, I love this. And I was like, when I first saw, because like the image of this Joker leaked online way before, this issue came out, and I was like, oh, why does he look, what's the best way to describe him? A dragon, a 20-foot dragon Joker thing. But it really works, especially because like it has to follow the Bane fight, and the Bane fight was so good in terms of that, just that arc in general, that character, the fight that Bruce had with Bane and everything. How do you go one step higher than that? Well, you create this Joker. I'm terrified to see what an absolute scarecrow looks like, but that keeps me up at night. But no, I thought Scott Snyder did a very good job in terms of it's one of the reasons why Absolute Batman has been such a good book, and the Absolute Universe has been such a good book. Has been such a good line, because they come up with really interesting ideas ironically enough, I read Absolute Green Lantern last night for the first time. And that's even like that's really good too. I don't know if everybody else has read that, but it comes up with a lot of Al Ewing comes up with a lot of really interesting ideas for that book.
I'm the only one caping for that one.
Oh, I think it's. I mean, it's tough
about?
because like it's against like Absolute Batman and Absolute Martian Manhunter and Absolute Wonder Woman, which are really amazing. But yeah, no, this I really dug this single issue, kind of showing the terror of this new Joker and how he works, and like doing it in such a if folks haven't read this kind of elicits back to Scott Snyder's horror background, and if you want like another book that's kind of like this, I would recommend Batman Black Mirror, which was actually one of Scott Snyder's first, and it's was drawn by Jock. This one was, the artist is named Jock in this one, and it's a very, very good horror centric comic, much like this. So yeah.
Okay, that's it. I think we've done it. Matt's agenda, he can take this thing on out. He's got a lot to talk about today, so let's let him get to it.
All right. So Matt, let's start with the Game Awards. Wait, go ahead. So the Game Awards hit. We already talked about Street Fighter, but there was a ton of other reveals. One of the ones that I was personal hyped about was the Tomb Raider award, or sorry, the Tomb Raider reveal. They had kind of leaked ahead of time, but that was actually just one aspect. They actually revealed 2 games for the Tomb Raider franchise during the Game Awards. The first one is Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is actually the next true sequel in the franchise, picking up after the trilogy that I adore. That is, to me, the best representation of Lara Croft. So that one will be hitting in 2027. And then we have the remake of the original Tomb Raider game. This one is a full-on built-up from the ground remake. This one is 2026. And what's great is that this one also, while it's a remake of the first game, it brings the timeline to where it all fits together. So the whole idea was that original trilogy, that previous trilogy from Crystal Dynamics, took place before the original game. It's her steps to getting to the Lara Croft that people were introduced to back in the 90s. So now this remake brings that all up to date. So it's a remake of the game, but it also is the same lore from that trilogy. It's her next step. So we're literally going to get 2 back-to-back games, back-to-back years. That's huge. I'm really excited for that. It looks great. They've finally kind of established a Lara Croft that is kind of the standard across all of the brands and all their various media things. I'm excited for the live action as well. Seems to be we're on a high note for Tomb Raider, and I'm excited because it's been about time, damn it. We're also going to jump into Star Wars. Fate of the Old Republic was announced. This is huge because, number one, it's a Star Wars game. It's always going to be big. Also, anytime you tie into that Republic era, right, it's going to be a big deal. But this one is from Casey Hudson, which, if you know Casey Hudson's work, KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, and Mass Effect, if you love both those franchises, this person is now leading this brand new Star Wars game. They showed a teaser trailer. It looks awesome. Granted, it's a very brief slice and it's just all cinematics, but it still looks awesome. Still looks dope. But I'm more excited from just the premise of like having this person leading this game. That's huge. I'm excited. Those are 2, classic franchises at this point. Cannot wait to see what this fully is. And hopefully there was no date or anything like that rumored. So we'll have to wait and kind of see what happens there. But it looks awesome. Kofi, any thoughts on, I know you're the Star Wars guru here. Any thoughts on this?
I will be leaving this world finally for a bit. I will be traveling to a galaxy far, far away where I must settle some things from the 90s. I'm already in, I'm not the biggest Mass Effect fan. I wasn't even the biggest Knights of the Old Republic fan. It was all a little bit too. At the time, I was in my first person shooter bag and it was still doing that kind of weird halfway RPG stuff. But I'm older now, and since then I've kind of gone back. I still don't really mess with Mass Effect. It just passed me by. But Knights of the Old Republic, some of the remasters, and again, that style of gameplay, I'm back in. So this will be my chance to finally kind of like really fully jump into this. And, I am. So, there it is.
Yeah. So excited for that. Hopefully we'll get details, release details soon. We also got today, launching this very morning, is Marvel Rivals new Season 5.5 update, which brings Rogue to the game. I've already been playing early this morning. Already got a chance to put the character through the paces in the practice ring. Good luck trying to get the character in quick.
Lock it in. Go lock it in.
Is auto locked, right? But what's great is you can do what I would actually suggest is if you want to test out the character, get used to things, you can do the practice arena, obviously, but just jump into the 18 versus 18 mode, and you can do duplicate characters in there, so it doesn't matter. And literally, there was like 5 rogues on the team, just blitzing. It was nuts. So you can get a feel for the powers and things. Play the character. It's going to be a minute before those locks. Also, just another tip: watch for people who play the character. I'm not gonna shout out DPS mains, but play the character because they want to play the new shiny playable character, and then midway through the match they drop and they switch to another character low key because they're like, oh, I can't do this
because they can't perform. They haven't learned it yet. Yeah, they get performance anxiety. You got to take your lumps first. You got to let your team down. Pick a team you're not going to have to see again, and just let them down the first couple times. Took me a couple times before I got to Gambit, and now I'm like, I will murder your team with Gambit.
And by the way, another tip is that, the new team up attack is Magneto, Gambit, and Rogue. So when people lock into Rogue, if you go with Gambit and you go with Magneto, which I've been doing.
They're making a low key push to really get Magneto's numbers up. Like they have been really trying to
Magneto
get
rules.
Yeah, he is very tank. One of the most tactical tanks. And I will fantastic. I will say I'm currently Platinum 1. Come meet me on these streets, everybody who's listening. It's the
Shaggy. I can't even. I don't even. There's no point. There's no even point for me stacking points for Cap anymore. I will beat your whole team to death, and then
even with Cap Wolf.
What's that?
Oh yeah, Cap Wolf, man! Oh, you're grabbing that. You're gonna grab it. That's a great skin. I will say too. So far, Rogue is making an impact. She is. I've seen
steal powers. I haven't seen any. I don't watch trailers.
Yes, she does. She steals.
Yeah, Rich, can you play that trailer for me? It's shows off the abilities, but like the biggest thing, obviously, is her ability to drain other powers from people. Depending on who you drain, you can either get some of their signature abilities, not their ultimates, but like some of their signature things, or you get her ability supercharged. So you can help fill up her own meter from some of the people. But like some of the things like White Queen, you get her diamond form. If you do Doctor Strange, it was, oh, my bad. Was it? Oh, sorry. Sorry for that. Oh, and yeah, it was. You're right, Rich. Sorry about that. I put 2 trailers of the same thing. That's my bad. The other thing is like Doctor Strange, she can pull up his shield. Groot, she can use his branches and things like that. So she can do all those things. And then her ultimate ability supercharges, takes everyone else's ultimate gauge down and then builds hers up and then also gives her boosts to in the middle of it. It's insane. Like she is very much a aggressive tank. And if you use that right, I've seen.
Yeah, she's a tank.
Oh,
yeah, she's a Vanguard.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
She's a Vanguard. They did it right this season. Gambit was a strategist.
No duelist. Daredevil was our last duelist.
Thank God. We had no, Deadpool and Elsa Bloodstone were also, and they're definitely.
So that was the other big thing from the Game Awards is that if you can play that trailer, Rich. Sorry about that. The Deadpool was revealed as well as Elsa Bloodstone.
What's up, gamers? It's about time I make Marvel Rivals the most hero pack shooter ever. First, some hot redhead is trying to blast my ass a few new holes.
And the animation
I got a surprise for her.
We haven't seen them in person yet. Like we haven't seen playable versions. But we've actually seen animation.
This is gonna be fun.
Look good.
Whoa! Easy now, fellas. I'm the one who set you free.
So that is
this was not the plan.
January.
All right, you rejects. Get Tyrannosaurus.
January 16th.
Come on.
And we're already in the game, by the way. If you go.
What's this?
There's just waiting.
There we go.
Very cool. So yeah, very excited for that. I'm a huge Elsa Bloodstone fan, so I'm excited for that. But Deadpool's obviously probably going to be a duelist, so we are going to get another one in the mix. I can't see him being anything else. I'm hoping Bloodstone would be a strategist, which would be amazing if they did that. Because the Bloodstone that she wears can do a bunch of different things, would make sense for her. I'm hoping we don't get 2 duelists in a row. the duelist community doesn't need any more a ton of more duelists. We're good. So that is Marvel Rivals. Also, I had a chance to test out the beta for Marvel Tokon. Is it Token?
Tokan.
Okay. Marvel Tokon, the new fighting game from the Guilty Gear folks. The second closed beta allowed you to really play about 8 different characters. You could go through kind of the core multiplayer mode. There's a whole training mode, and then you can face the computer and things. I will say I'm really looking forward to this. I still am, but the big twist on this is that it is essentially 4v4. So you're going to have like Marvel versus Capcom. You can switch out and things. You can have people kind of tag in. You can have them do assist abilities, but you literally over the course of the stage, you can send the other fighter breaking through to another part of the arena, and that unlocks another fighter for you to have on your team. So over the course of time, you will unlock all 4 of your allies. You can switch between them, and then you can also do kind of combo attacks and crossovers and things like that. The way this works, I will say, I didn't expect to love Ghost Rider as much. Ghost Rider kind of low-key rules. Dr. Doom is in this, Star-Lord, Storm, Spider-Man. And then we also have Miss Marvel, who I, of course, played a bunch of time with. Really interesting core gameplay. I feel like at first, I don't know how this is going to click with me over time, because having that many people is a lot to kind of juggle. And especially if you want to get the most out of the team, it's one of those things like you're going to get a bunch of attacks off by button mashing, but you will get blitzed by combos and not have a chance to fight back if you're just jumping all around at things. This is very much in the Marvel versus Capcom vein, or even Mortal Kombat vein, of when someone starts a combo, you can just get obliterated before you hit the ground, unless a break happens or something like that. So this is going to take some time. I enjoyed it. I don't know how I feel about if it's going to be a game that kind of a fighting game that wins me over from like Street Fighter 6 or even Tekken, which I've adored lately. So interesting. I would be excited for other people to, especially when it comes out next year. I'll be excited for people to dive in and see if it clicks with them. All right. Last but not least, I talked about The Witcher. I got to end things with a little Witcher here, but this time for the tabletop, which is The Witcher Unmatched, a dueling game where you can take on various characters in the Witcher universe. There's 2 box sets. One comes with Geralt and Ciri, and then the Leshen, and then the other one comes with Eredin, Philippa, and then Yennefer and Triss. And what's cool is each fighter, plays very different. They have their own deck. Geralt can kind of utilize his monster hunting ability to change out his gear loadout at the beginning of every single match. Ciri is kind of building up power over time. You also have sidekicks in this game. So Dandelion or Jaskier, if you watch the show, is in the game, able to pull things, able to kind of back up Geralt. You have the unicorn in for Ciri's group. You have you have wolves for the Leshen. You have all kinds of things happening. Triss and Yennefer are really interesting because you actually alternate. So you can actually have one be the core hero and one be the sidekick, and you can actually switch, and their powers and abilities kind of contrast differently. You're kind of trying to work together, and it's this whole kind of thing of 2 people who sometimes they're friends, sometimes they have issues and things like that, are working together, and you're playing their abilities off each other. It's a really interesting game because it's strategic, but each character feels really, really different. And yet the core mechanics, you can go from one to the other and still kind of understand how things work. So I feel like it's very approachable in that respect. But if you want to dig into a character that fits your play style, you absolutely can. The miniatures are fantastic. The maps throw in different things. There's one that's on a ship, so you have to start managing which floor you're on, space, range, melee, all that matters. So there's a lot of tactics there. But it's also just fun to play. There's a little bit of a mystery aspect because you don't know what your opponent is playing until you both reveal cards at the same time. So you don't know if your attack's going to go through, if they have a counter, if they get rid of your abilities on your card. There's all these kind of layers to what you play in round to round combat, movement. The Leshen has a lot of stuff of they're kind of more of a tank character. but they can vanish off the board completely for like the rest of the turn, and then you can pick wherever they want to go. So there's that aspect. They really hone in on what make these characters special. So really dig the Unmatched system as a whole. They actually just released a Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali set, right? So it's not just Witcher; it's all kinds of fantastical things. There's multiple Marvel sets as well. So if you're interested in Unmatched, there's also a digital client. If you want to jump into that way, really cool game. There's a Hellboy set coming next year as well. So this game is only going to get more and more impressive. And the most recent release was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That just came out. That is actually hitting, I think, shippers and fans' tables now. So lots of cool things coming from Unmatched. The Witcher sets, I really love. Plus, if you buy the bundle, you get a little miniature with Geralt in the bathtub, which, why not? You're going to do it. You're going to go all out. So that is the agenda today.
All right, that'll do it for this episode of Comic Book Nation. Thank you for all tuning in and waking up and joining us in the chat on the live show. We do it all for geek culture, and you can check out all of our work on Comicbook.com or various platforms. You can catch Janelle streaming, and there's a lot to do out here. It's the holiday season. Watch some Christmas movies, watch some good content, read some good content, have fun. We will keep the cheer going. Next week, we'll be talking Avatar, Fire and Ash. Plus a whole bunch of other new stuff that's coming our way. Matt, Janelle, Evan, thank you once again. Cammie, the dog over here, for joining me for her first podcast. And everybody out there, have a good one. We are Comic Book Nation. Peace. We out.
Bye.
Kisses.